Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Kyle. So I've been away for a little bit, and I am coming back with a vengeance this year in 2024. Now, I'm not coming back where it's like, the point of going crazy and, coming out with all these high-tech, crazy videos and then, going away and, basically like blowing my load and not being able to keep up with it because, on top of running a business, doing real estate myself, doing acting, investing, properties, having a family, man, having a family and all that, it's just not feasible for me. So that gets into the topic of this video. So what I'm going to go over, because enough about what all I do, is the reason I wanted to make this video, and the reason I'm going to make these videos this year is to just provide value. That's all I want to do. A little bit of what's in my mindset, what I've learned along the way, and what I'm working on. So I'm going to try to batch my videos one day and then release them and at least get to one a week. So before we go on to it, if you don't mind, it helps with the YouTube algorithm, smash the like button. Hit the subscribe if you want to hear more content of what basically goes on in the mind of a multi-million dollar real estate brokerage owner, a actor who's still following his dreams of doing that, having a family, trying to time block everything. If you want to try to get into the mind of me, it's not going to be frills and kind of a lot of high quality editing and BS. It's going to be what's going on in my mind, what's going on behind the scenes in here, and just getting down to the meat of it. So I'm going to make this video. The reason I wanted to make this one was because I started looking at and taking stock of my own life about, you heard the old adage, whatever, time is money. So if you start as a business owner, if you're working at a job that's a salaried job, you have a finite amount of money that you're going to be able to make. It's basically you're getting paid hourly. You show up for that number of hours. You can see how much you're going to make, and then you just go home and you get a check. In the world of a entrepreneur, business owner, even real estate agent, because you're technically a business owner, you're a 1099 independent contracting employee. You just have your license hung at a brokerage that provides certain things to you in return for a portion of the commission, but you're still an independent broker. So you have to start looking at it in terms of dollar cost per hour of what you should be making. So let me break this down. You work a job and you can say, I get paid X number of dollars an hour. Minimum wage is like 20 something, maybe less. 20, find a job for 30 something. You're on a salaried employee. Now, if you start getting into the $100 an hour work, now you're talking about like some good money. Real money, six-figure type money. And if you're in the world of an entrepreneur, you basically don't get paid based on the production you do. So like you become a real estate agent and, no matter how much work you do, if you're not closing deals, you're making zero. You can make the prettiest posts on social media. You can make, document everything, make great data sheets and all that. But if you're not getting out there to the meat of what's bringing in, as a real estate agent, you're everything. So I'm not just making this video for real estate agents. I'm just saying in the minds of an entrepreneur, there's different facets of the business. You have to get business. You have to do at first, you're pretty much everything. You're getting the business, you're handling the business, you're closing the deals, you're being the administrator, you are being the marketer, you're being the social media manager, you're being everything. So the thing with once you get started and get going and you can start delegating, you have to figure out what's the highest and best use of your time and how much do you allocate to that. So let me give you an example. The first thing that came to mind, I was working with a coach and they were like, look, you have to focus on the $100 an hour work. So whatever you're doing is $100 an hour. So if you focus on that, if you're doing menial jobs, focus on the stuff that's going to make you $100 an hour and delegate the rest. So say you're prospecting, right? You're looking for new business, you're closing deals, you're making calls, texts, reach outs to bring you in, that because you are the $100 an hour worker. So now, if you start thinking about that, now you're making $100 an hour, you work say 8 hours a day. I know you're thinking maybe I work 10 hours a day or 14. Realistically, you're not doing the $100 an hour work all day long for that long. But say you work $100 an hour work, and you're doing it, let's say 8 hours a day, for the meat of it. The meat of it, you're doing your whatever it is that's the highest and best use of your time, and you can delegate the rest. Say you work 8 hours a day. So you're doing $100 times 8, which is $800 a day, times 5 days a week, times 4. You're making 16 grand. So say you do $100 a day, and you're working 8 hours a day, right? That's $800 a day. And say you work, right? $100 a day times 8 is $800 a day. Say you're working now, I'm just going to say 200 days out of the year. That's just a general rule of thumb. You probably work a lot more than that, but 200 days out of the year is like, you're not talking about weekends. There's a lot of holidays in there. You might take a couple days off for vacation. Just general rule of thumbing, we're going to say 200 days out of the year. Maybe you do work Saturdays, but you don't do the $100 an hour work. We're just going to times that by 200, right? That's $160,000 for the year. Now, once you get to that point, you have to start thinking, and that's where I got to and surpassed that. Now you start thinking even higher. So now where the trick is when you get to that point and you have delegated a lot of things, right? So you're making $100 a day times 8 roughly times it equals 800 times 200 days out of the year, and you're making 160K, right? Now the next level, you can keep going up. You can keep going 500, whatever. But now when you're getting into the mindset of $1,000 an hour work. So like $100 an hour work, sure. It takes you 20 minutes to make a real estate post, and that's 20 minutes out of the 100, that's $30. You're not like, then you're like, okay, cool, I can make that social media post, because to get somebody to pay $30 is, they're probably going to want that, right? So you're doing all this work for yourself. Now, when you start getting really good at the money-making aspects of the business, closing bigger deals, talking to better clients, you're better at those skills that are really valuable, right? When you're getting into that aspect of it, now, that's when, you are just really starting to really step it up. So when you're getting into that aspect of it, right? You are basically now thinking on a different playing field. So now imagine you're talking about $1,000 an hour work, right? So for real estate people, it could be, I am doing phone calls, cold calls, but I'm just sitting there grinding it out, calling around other homeowners that have $1 million properties, but I may get a ton of no's, and then I hit a yes, and now that is like, puts me in touch with a $1 million property owner that, you list their property and it's a 40 grand commission. That was in 40 grand for basically you, and then you got to do the other stuff like photography and listing it and all that, but that's administrative stuff. We're going to get into that. But if you're really just sitting there doing the prospecting, now we're talking about $1,000 an hour work. So now think about it this way. You do $1,000 an hour. Say you work 8 hours a day, okay? doing the $1,000 an hour work. That's at 8,000, of course. And now you're talking about $8,000 a day times that 200. Now we're on a different playing field. Now we're at 1.6 million per year. Now, you might not be doing the $1,000 an hour work every day, but if you're doing that, you're at the 1.6. Now, where this comes into play is this is the kind of stuff that you don't. If something takes an hour of your time or even half an hour of your time, that's $500. If you're doing something that's taking you half an hour that you could delegate out for less than that $500, maybe it would cost somebody $50 to do it. It's a no-brainer. So you have to start thinking about it in this way. And that's a game changer, and we can do a whole nother video on that. But that's how you really start allocating. When you start, you have to think of that as a business owner. And, just for instance, I just made a post and posted it out myself. Took me literally 20 minutes, maybe 10 minutes to do the post. That's half an hour. If I'm thinking about that literally just cost me $500. So if you can start thinking in those terms and focus on the things that make you $1,000 an hour and just focus on that, delegate everything else, I'm telling you, this is where it's going to scale your business and you're going to start thinking differently. There's going to be things that you cannot give up. Obviously, I can't stop going to the gym. Nobody can go to the gym for me and work out. Nobody can do the videos for me. I have to be there to do them, but I can sure get somebody to do the editing, the posting, and all that. So if you start thinking about it in those terms, it changes the whole game. So that's what this video is about. I hope you found value in that. It's just to get you thinking a bit differently, and we'll make another post or video on something else regarding the intricacies of this. But for now, guys, that's all I wanted to say for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, hit the like button if you found some value here. Subscribe if you have not done so already, and hit the notification bell so you will get notifications every time I post a new video. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.